Guys, and welcome to this live stream. If this is your first time meeting me, my name is 𝗏𝗏 and my last binge was 14 years ago. This live stream is how to use energy to burn 10 pounds of fat in 2025. So if you're tired of making the same New Year's resolution to lose weight, but then you end up binging your way or yo-yoing your way through all of this year under, relevant circumstances with stress, if you didn't accomplish that goal and you went into your same habits of binging and yo-yo dieting, this is the live stream for you because the missing piece is understanding your energy. There's a root cause to every single habit, belief, ideology, identity that we have about ourselves and how the world works and how our body in particular fits into it. And these are all energetic. And so I'm going to share with you a very simple way to look at energy as the binary code as it is, and you being the program designer of your video game. So we're going to jump right into it. I have the post right here. Oh wait, I forgot. I was going to show you. So this is how, I'm 10 pounds less, right, than what I was when I was binging, even though that was a long time ago. But I want to show you some of my lifestyle. So these are 𝗬's milk almond. So I cut that in half and eat half of it. I also have the polar bear paw, cut it in half, eat half of it. These ones are open. Milk butterscotch squares and almond squares. And then, of course, special edition caramel scotch mellows. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you, are there any cut? Oh yeah, here's one that's cut. Is that I cut the chocolates in half. And sometimes in a whole day, I'll eat half of each chocolate, which ends up being 2 full servings. There's 2 reasons to do this. Number one, psychological. So there's never any moment in my day or leading up to the weekend where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired of eating healthy. I really just want to not think about food and eat a bunch of junk. That doesn't happen because I eat junk food every day. And in fact, my massage therapist asked what my eating philosophy is. And I said to figure out how to eat as much junk food as possible every single day. And that is literally my brain around food at this point. And so I wanted to share that with you because you can train yourself to not need to eat everything. You could have a bite, even half a bite, which is ridiculous. But that's how I am. Okay, so back to the energy. So here's how it works, okay? There are universal laws that doesn't matter what culture, what kind of society you're in, nothing. Universal law is not a governmental law. Universal law is something that you can rely on. And one of the universal laws of energy is that it is binary code of zeros and ones. And then when you get into some spiritual concepts, the zeros and ones of programming a video game, of programming something, a computer, those zeros and ones are also masculine and feminine energy. So the masculine energy is the thinking frequencies and doing things. And then the feminine energy is the vibration, the emotional aspect of it and magnetizing things. But also the feminine energy is also something that delivers, like Mother Earth delivers to us. Female body species deliver something. So the feminine is producing something just like the masculine kind of does, but it's also magnetizing. So the feminine energy is very, very cool to work with. And the feminine energy, being that they're the emotions, when we're bearing our emotions, especially the painful ones and the stressful ones with food, we are side by side bearing our power, because the feminine energy is the power for everything, men and women, it doesn't matter. So what I want to share with you is that when you, what the full scope kind of, the full scope of what it is that I'm putting together for you in the 2025 game plan and in body energetics in general is a way for you to work with energy in a very tangible way. And so when we break it down to binary code, then what we get to do is break down everything from the physical level of how things are actually functioning with thoughts, feelings, and actions, and what your cells are doing, and how your body is expressing itself in health and vitality or stress and, degeneration. But also because there's a binary code, we can also look at it from the feeling space of what the human experience is in the physical body of how the thoughts and feelings work together. So I want to bring you back to when you were in that age of 0 to 7. That's download phase only of where you're just experiencing life as truth. Whatever is happening in your reality from 0 to 7, your brain is processing as truth. And because you don't have much reference outside your physical body, because you haven't really had a lot of worldly experiences to compare them to, we identify everything that we're experiencing as truth as about us. So if we have a negative emotional experience, or we have a negative experience out in the environment, and it's true and it's all about us, we internalize and create a mind body that says all these horrible things are my fault. They happen because I'm bad. And then as we get older and our brain's starting to kind of change, when we're getting more towards 7, 8, 9 into like age 13, that's when we're really deciding, like, is this about me or is it not? How do I feel about this? Does this feel true? Am I going to act on this? Am I going to follow these directions? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Those brain activities start to happen when we're closer to that 7-year-old spectrum of that 0 to 7. So what happens is, because we have an identity from negative experiences that were downloaded, when we experience something that reminds us of that, we're going to identify with that experience as we did something wrong or we were bad, and that's why this thing is happening. So as we have this mindset and this identity and this mind-body operating system, it doesn't matter if you said out loud in whatever to your friends, or if you wrote in your journal, or if you wrote in your day planner that on January 1st, this is the year that you're going to commit to following through with the habits that you need to do to lose 10 pounds in 2025. That one thought and that one desire is nothing compared to what is the base operating system from those ages 0 to 7. And then every time you interacted with negative emotions or negative experiences, that compounded the energy. So every time as you grew through human conditioning to the age you are now, from when those mindsets first developed in your body, every time you had an experience that was similar to that emotion, you create a mindset that like layers on top of it, on top of it, on top of it, on top of it. That's why we say the root emotion, right? So like if you have the goal that you're going to burn 25 or you're going to burn 10 pounds of fat in 2024, but then in February of 2024, you get a new job or you get some other extra responsibility in any way, shape, or form that adds stress to your life. Well, that stress, right, is emotional. Because when you are overloaded with whatever this new responsibility is that you might not be prepared for, the feeling that you have in your body of the overwhelm, or the feeling that you don't know you're having, that you're avoiding by making yourself busy, by doing something else instead of actually taking care of the responsibility that you now have, those feelings are evoked because of that stress. So those feelings are in you no matter what. So when we look at, oh, I had a really hard day, I set this goal in January of 2024 to lose 10 pounds, but then in February, this happened. And since then, the wheels fall off. I lost track of everything. I started binging again. I've been kind of yo-yoing back and forth with like a binge every couple of weeks when I really just can't handle it anymore. Okay, well, that one thing was not actually the thing that caused your binge. It's the emotion under the emotion under the emotion. These mindsets that we've compiled. So when you're looking at it in this way, a binary code, this is a mind-body split. This is my mind and my heart being disconnected. This is me not feeling my feminine emotion and vibration and magnetism and ability to have so much energy that we can withstand stress and produce something, birth something into the world, even though it's really hard. That's that feminine energetics that we've lost touch with in this mind-body split from the 0 to 7. And then the masculine, if we can't follow through with anything, it's because I was going to say something really derogatory, but if a man can't show up and do what he says he's going to do, how does that affect everything? within the partnership, within family, within society, within whatever. Like we need that strong drive of like a warrior mentality in the mind. So with this binary code of masculine and feminine energy, when we're understanding that this is universal law, that it's one or the other, it's a thought that sends a signal out into the ethers, and is the vibration of the emotional state of the body that this brain is in, that essentially builds a dock for the ship to come in, right? So the frequency is sending out the light so that the ship out there, which would be your dream body, your 10 pounds of fat loss, and you are building, you in your actions and in your feelings are being the energetic space for that manifestation to come in. You are being the place that can hold a lot of stress to be able to stay and aligned with everything that you, or like to have the energy to do everything that you need to do while also taking care of yourself. So when we start to look at it like this, that this is universal law of manifestation. The frequency is the information, the vibration is the material in which it forms. So check this out. You can say that you want to have a surprise. I love surprises. There's a surprise when someone brings you flowers, and there's a surprise when you're walking through a hallway and a spider drops down on your shoulder. It's both surprise, but one of them is riddled with fear, and one of them is like, ooh, baby, yes, I like this. This is exciting. It is the vibrational experience of the frequency that matters. That's the thing that we're all after, is the vibrational experience, the emotional experience of anything it is that we're thinking that we want to accomplish. So when you keep reminding yourself of this over and over and over again, when you're trying to stay on track to lose your weight, then all of a sudden you get to pay attention to your behaviors when it comes to food. So if we're getting super attached to losing 10 pounds, and we're not at that mental emotional awareness of like what is actually going on in our thoughts and feelings, how are we perceiving things, how are we perceiving ourselves, how are we feeling about ourselves, if we have some cellulite, if we have some rolls, like if we're not aware of what is actually going on in our body mentally and emotionally, you can say you have this goal, but you're not going to reach it. Here's why. Because when the mind body is splitting in those ages of 0 to 7, there's a lot of things that's happening, but one of the things that's happening is that the nervous system is not having a ventral tether. So a ventral tether is another human being's nervous system that's in a state of ease and bliss, that's not in sympathetic fight and flight, that's not in a dorsal state of freeze or fawn. So if we're in 0 to 7 and part of our human conditioning is to attach, to create connection and community for survival, if our nervous system cannot find a ventral tether, now all of a sudden the body's dysregulated. Now all of a sudden the body's getting unhealthy. Now all of a sudden the body can't withstand stress. So then when stress happens, especially when you're on a calorie deficit to burn your 10 pounds of fat in 2024, your body does not have the capacity to withstand mental, emotional, physical, or environmental stress because the nervous system is not regulated. The nervous system is split also. So that means you, in your adult you, has to figure out the fastest way to feel regulated again. And in our modern times, it's scrolling, and it's food, and it's exercising for some people who do over-exercising. So if you understand this, that you're like, if the nervous system job is to if that 0 to 7 is to have a ventral tether, to have another human being's nervous system that's making you feel okay and safe, so that we feel connected, so that we can survive. If that's what being connected to another human being in a positive way, in a peaceful way means physiologically, but we don't have it, and in our mind we have created this picture of the dream body of 10 pounds less, we get attached to that. And because we don't have a secure attachment from that 0 to 7 when we're little, whatever it is that we've figured out to get attention and connection, we apply to the food. So then this is why, if we're like, I have the dream body, I've set my goal for 2024 to lose the 10 pounds, I don't have a regulated nervous system, I have a mind-body split because clearly I keep running these same patterns over and over again. Something's missing. I don't understand what the disconnect is. And then you idolize your dream body. And the way you're thinking about the dream body is saying to yourself, if I have that dream body, then I will feel connected. And when I feel connected, I'll feel worthy. I'll feel good about myself. We're still looking for the internal connection from that nervous system of our heart and our brain. So if you look at it like that way, remember, it's just binary code, thoughts and feelings. If feelings show up in the food, then this is your question, how do I insecurely attach? Do I go avoidant where I ghost because I'm like, what's the point anyway? It's probably not going to work out. Do I ghost because, oh my God, like so many things got in the way, and it's easier to say, especially if you make an announcement that you're committing to this goal, it's easier to show up to someone and be like, well, I was sticking with it until. That's still being avoidant because you didn't push through the emotions. You quit and you deflected. This is also the reason why, as an anxious attachment style, we end up being like, let me make sure I do everything right. Let me make sure I cross all my T's and dot my I's. Let me make sure that I'm eating every 2.5 hours. And I'm drinking my gallon of water, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. And there is so much overload in your system that then it's like the only thing that you can get any type of physical relief from that anxiety is to eat. So then it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like I was doing so well and being so meticulous, but now all of a sudden I'm like shoving food down my throat in my binge. What the fuck just happened? Their emotional reactions to that 0 to 7 that had that binary code split of an emotional sensation, not having a ventral tether, not having someone help you process the emotions and help you understand it, ending up making it mean something about you. Then creating mindsets that say, if I do it perfectly, then I will. If I'm afraid of what it's going to take to get there, so I'm just going to make excuses, right? Avoidant, anxious. So now that you're like creating this understanding, and this doesn't happen overnight, obviously, and I'm going pretty fast through this because I really want you to join the 2025 pre-game because it's only $97. It's 4 weeks. You have lifetime access, and I am building it so that you have everything you need for 2025. So this is something that you're going to refer back to. I'm getting these big concepts on a single piece of paper that applies to your habit. So I'm going through this really quickly because I really want you to go into that so that you can see how this is all going to play out. So now let's review it again. We're understanding that energy is binary code of zeros and ones. You can look it up on the internet. Masculine and feminine energy. Masculine goes into your mindset. Feminine goes into your feelings. We can see the feelings and the mindsets and the attachment, the emotional attachment to the dream body play out in the food. So now when you know this and we're like, great, it's binary code. How do I change the code of the zeros so that I can arrange my zeros and ones into a body that's 10 pounds less? I'm so glad you asked because we have resources. We have attachment theory for us to understand how the feminine energy functions. We have the cycle of abuse to understand if we've had trauma from our caregivers where they did abuse, neglect, or abandon us. We can see how we are duplicating that experience with them through the food. When we get into the mindset stuff and the masculine energetics, that's when we actually have to show up to the gym. That's where we have to prioritize discipline and commitment, follow through. Because what happens is when we say, I'm going to go to the gym, and you go to the gym, there's a lot of amazing things that happen while you're at the gym. You're getting in your body. You're getting out of your head and into your body, where your emotions are. Your head is the thing that processes the emotions. The emotions and the intuition are in the physical body. So when you strategically work the physical body with strength training, and in particular, the exercises that I have all my clients do, because they build the body structurally with the joints, with the deep core, and then finally doing your refinement stuff of however you want your dream body to look. Like I am like, give me the best hourglass figure. Yeah, that's what I want. So at this point, everything that I do is to shrink my waist, grow my shoulders, grow my butt. My whole life in the gym and exercise revolves around that. And then when something feels weird or I feel like something's kind of off, like then I go and do specific things to make sure that I'm keeping the structure sound. You're going to learn that in the 2025 pregame. My point is that when you say that you're gonna work out and you do it, this is the generative principle that builds energy, specifically electricity, which is thought, so that you can manifest. So this is like the juicy end game of working with your energy. Because when you say you're gonna do something and you do it, and you're doing this through strength training, through specific stress in your physical body to feel it, to make it sweat, to make it stretch, to make it strain so that it can grow stronger. You're not just making your physical body stronger, you're making your mind stronger and you're making your emotional stress stronger. Because when things get hard outside of the gym, you're gonna reflect back and be like, wow, well, remember when I was doing overhead press and I started with 5 pounds and now I can press 30 pounds over my head? If I can do that, I can do this. So now the emotional stress capacity is able to be higher, so then you can actually operate all of 2025 in enough of a calorie deficit to burn 10 pounds of fat, but not just like take it off in 3 months and then go back to your old eating habits and gain it back plus some, but you're actually going to sustainably burn it off all year because you're in a slight calorie deficit over the long term. That's what works. It's the lifestyle. So when this is like the like really fascinating part of this for me, is that we're looking at our feminine energy, the zeros, the vibration, the emotion, the magnetism, and what you are actually able to produce in your life. All of that we're looking at with your food. We're taking a look at how we feel and think about that dream body, our attachment to it, what that dream body means to us and our value, what it means to our place in the world, what it means in our place to have a loving, romantic, lifetime partner. That's where we get to work out the feminine energy. Meanwhile, you say you're going to go to the gym and you go to the gym. You're following through. So then what happens is when you're doing the mindset work with the fitness, with deciding that you're going to go to the gym and doing it. That's literally all you have to do is decide you're going to do it and then do it. That's how easy. See how we really talk about like when men are so simple and women are complicated? Masculine energy is so simple. Just do what you say you're going to do. So you're doing what you're saying you're going to do with your strength training. You just go once a week. That's all it takes to physically get results, but also to trigger the manifestation. All you have to do is do what you say you're going to do. All you have to do is pay attention to how you're thinking and feeling about yourself and your food and your body and your value. And, learning to eat. I'm going to teach you how to eat. Like we do conscious binges where like, I want you to actually journal your thoughts and feelings leading up to your binge, and then journaling thoughts and feelings while you're binging, and then after the binge, because that's going to tell us everything that we need to know. So we get to observe the food and the feminine energy. We get to follow through with the masculine energy. Now you're wielding energy. You're wielding energy. Do you hear me? You doing what you're going to do in the gym is creating more frequency, more electricity. Masculine energy is electric. Feminine energy is magnetic. So when you are doing the frequency work, which ultimately means getting a stronger, more independent mindset from any bullshit you ever downloaded that said that you're not good enough or that you're too much. Now all of a sudden you have a frequency that's going out that says, yeah, like I am that bitch. And then when you're taking care of the feminine energy with the food, now you're processing the emotions that have been keeping you stuck and not having a high stress threshold, causing you to binge, causing you to yo-yo, just because you don't know how to manage the physical body's stress. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with you. That's your download, 0 to 7. We all have it. We all just have different outlets. So now what's going to happen is you're generating the frequency for who you are. I am that bitch. You're processing the emotions. You are meeting your power that is your pain. Your pain emotions are one and the same with your ability to create your life. This is your power. But we never get to our power because at this stage, we're perceiving it as pain. So we keep eating to cover the pain. But your pain is your power. There's no different. It's the same thing. So now we got the frequency and the magnetism moving, right? With our eating and exercise. And then you know what? This is all about you. So in the 2025 game plan, we actually use your North Node to guide us. So that means your North Node is a placement on your natal chart where all of the celestial bodies were when you were born. And the North Node is who your human, is here to experience for your soul. So it's what your soul is ready to learn in this life. So if we look at that North Node and we grow towards it, and we're doing the eating and the exercise, then we are like tearing through energy and creating manifestations so fast because we have direction with the North Node. It's our North Star. And so anything that is not aligned with your North Star, when you see it show up in your eating, your exercise, you're like, perfect, there, get rid of this. Let's do this one. Let's do that. And then your life starts to change. But all you did was pay attention to your energy. It's the most fabulous thing in the world. And I got to tell you, like, I'm totally like living my manifestations. And I wrote in my journal this morning that alignment, being in alignment is actually more fun. And what I imagine we think the attainment of the goal is actually going to feel like. Because what alignment feels like is you can see your life transform right before your eyes. I know my connections with the girls that I dance with, how they're connected to me energetically. I know the work that I did internally, emotionally, to become magnetic with that other human being to have a connection. I know my relationship with kind of like my mentors that I had this year, including Melissa, who's my dance teacher, who I'm always talking about. I know why I'm energetically aligned with her. I know the reasons why, because I've used my North Node to understand myself and contrast it with the 0 to 7 and observe it in my eating and exercise. So that is like, I think that's probably the same, like I'm feeling now probably what we think it feels like to get to the dream body. Because alignment is all like, because there's nothing you can predict. Like you can't you can't predict everything. There's no guarantees. But what you can do is align yourself so that no matter what's actually happening, if you're in alignment and you're using your North Node, then you're like, okay, like this actually kind of makes sense. If I'm supposed to grow to this next level and this really shitty thing just happened, okay, let me process this, because actually if I process this experience, I'm going to stay on track with my North Node and I'm growing into my soul experience. That's what ends up happening. So you don't look at things the same way. I think that's all I wanted to say about this. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh my God, I think that's it. Okay, so I would like it if you joined the 2025 game plan, because I am so committed to helping you burn 10 pounds of fat next year and helping you process the reasons why you don't stick with that actual New Year's resolution that you may have set at other times. And because this is my life's work, because this is my North Node, I was going to tell you something about my North Node, but I don't want to talk about it. Well, okay, so my North Node is in Cancer, and so it's coming into like the mother energy and like feminine stuff. And it's like my whole life before I started using energy work was all about masculine energetics. Let me do some powerlifting. Let me own a business. Let me work in a gym. Let me tell people what to do for a living. Like masculine, 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 masculine. And so then my North Node being the feminine energy of feelings and the symbology around it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because I used to like wear a really tight sports bra on so that it wouldn't look like I had boobs. And like, I don't usually wear anything that's like low cut because I don't really like that look. I'm like, it feels kind of weird. I'm like, ooh, boobs, weird. But then like one of my clients was like, yet you're scantily clad with your butt hanging out on the internet. I'm like, but a butt's different than boobs for me. So anyway, so my point is my North Node is to go into feminine energy. And so if we look at my life and we look at the illnesses that I've had and the issues that I've had, it was messed up masculine energy and what I was doing and how I was perceiving myself. So as I align to my North Node and I pay attention to my eating and exercise, I stay in alignment. And there's other tools and resources and stuff that like we're going to go into, like also in the 4-week program, because I want you to be able to see each little section. There's 5 different ways that there's 5 eating styles and there's 5 exercise styles. And so you're going to see, I described them to you. I already posted them yesterday. And then when you see these 5 eating styles and exercise styles, then you're like, okay, well, which one do I do? And where do I want to go? Because then I'm doing a training on each one of those 5 eating and exercise styles. So then now you just go to the exercise, the style that you do. Then, you know, maybe in April of 2025, when shit hits the fan with whatever happens in your life, you're like, wait a minute, where was that one training for how I eat when I'm under stress? Let me go pull that single piece of paper out so I can just look at it really quick and remind myself, this is binary code. I can process the emotions, I can follow through, and I can pay attention and realign myself to my North Star. That's what you're gonna get out of this offer for $97. So if you would like to join it, what do I say? I say comment game plan. So comment below game plan. If you are watching this reposted on YouTube or the podcast, just email me, Lauren@�laurensercione.com, so that you can get in. I don't know when I'm going to take it down. I kind of feel like I'm not going to take it down and just charge more, because I'm literally giving you 12 months in a 4-week period for life. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Comment below game plan, and then I'll send you the link to the Stripe so that you can sign up and then get into the Telegram and then start this process now.